What's the answer for real estate burnout, realtor burnout, job burnout, life burnout, all the burnouts? Well, a friend of mine sent me this message as a request for I need a video on idea. And it was not the person you would expect to be burned out because she's positive, she's happy, her energy is so infectious, everybody loves her, highly successful, and she's the one sending me a private message saying, what do I do with this burnout? Y'all, it's so interesting because in real estate, we're expected to have a happy front on. You're expected to say, it's always a great time to buy or sell a house. You've been told that you've got to be upbeat and positive and optimistic all the time, and then you work all the time because you're so anxiously trying to please your buyers and please your sellers and find the next buyer or seller because they want a positive, happy agent too. And now your face hurts from the smiling and inside you're just dead and tired. Not because you don't care. I know you care. That's one of the reasons that you throw so much of yourself into this, and not because you don't take it seriously, because you do, but it's because we were built as humans for rest. Real estate doesn't give us that. In fact, if you listen to a bunch of long in the tooth realtors like myself, we always kind of laugh about the people who work a jobby job where they clock in at 9 and clock out at 5, and they don't have to look at emails after that. They don't have to take text or phone calls. They're off the clock. They're off the clock. Well, that just doesn't happen in real estate. If you're a member of the public who's watching this, you may not realize how much energy and time your agents are putting into you. Because when we're working for you, oh my gosh, it never stops. And it's because our care level is so deep. And frankly, when the markets are behaving like they've been behaving for the last couple of years, there is no time for rest. I mean, since the COVID era started in March of 2020 and the markets went from coming back after the big recession and then they went to this white hot fire market, you didn't have a chance to rest because if a house came on the market, first of all, it probably already had offers during the coming scene period. So you felt lucky to have a chance to even put an offer in, much less look at it. And if you could look at it, you checked the showing schedule, and we didn't have overlapping showings during COVID. And so there was this one showing left available. And so you had to go see it, and you called your clients and you said, please come. And they said, we're busy. And you said, you don't have time to be busy. Come over here with me. This house might work. And so you rush. And then they think they want to buy it. And there's an hour to the deadline, and you rush to do the homework as quickly as you can and get the offer right and get it submitted. And then you're on pins and needles waiting to hear back, and the other agent doesn't get back to you for days and days, and you just don't know what's going on, and you can't sleep and you can't rest, and you're still looking for another house because your clients really want something. And you, the public, don't always see that from your agents because your agents are out there saying it's a great time to buy or sell. I love real estate, love my clients. But over here, they're working nonstop. It's that old motivational poster of the duck who looks like they're swimming along so smoothly, and underneath they're just paddling as hard as they can to keep it going. And what happens is when you are paddling so hard, nonstop, without a break, you're able to keep going, but you just don't have the same level of connection that you used to have. You just don't have the same emotional investment that you had before. And I know you want it back. Because one of the best things about real estate is the relationships that we build with our clients. And we can all tell you that at the closing table, when somebody knows we've believed in them and we've worked with them nonstop for weeks and weeks, the hugs are real and the tears are real and the emotion is real. And so that's what a burned out agent like my friend wants back. So how do you get there? Well, the first thing is you have to acknowledge that it's okay to be exhausted. The world that we're in right now, frankly, tells none of us to take a break. If we're off, we're staring at these devices. All right, first of all, you're not resting if you're staring at a device. So to get over the burnout phase of life where your care level is just gone, you're gonna have to turn off all your devices. And I mean off. I don't mean airplane mode. I mean mash the button on the side to where that little turn off thing comes up and slide it over to off. And then once you cut off your phone, nope, you're not going to the TV. You're not turning on Netflix and Hulu and all the other junk and noise out there that will continually keep your brain active with that blue screen off. And now, nope, you're not going to the laptop now to go hunt for houses and the multiple. Nope, not turning that on either. Nope, you're not getting in the car and turning on your music. Nope, you've got to get the noise off. Frankly, it's one of the things our young people are missing out on is this ability to live in a quiet space. I see it with my kids. My son will not turn off his phone. If I take it away from him, that's about the only chance because our human brains are wired to be fed those dopamine hits. But when you're constantly hitting the dopamine, your exhaustion is out of control. So when you turn everything off, well, now what do you do? Because for some of y'all, you're going to sit here like this. You're like, I can't, because you're worried about a call that you're going to miss or a text that you're going to miss or your clients are going to miss out and somebody's looking for you and you're going to be panicked. I would suggest you go for a walk, pick up a book, like the kind that's made out of paper, like this kind, pick up a book and retrain your brain to slow down. Because the best way to get past burnout is to fill yourself back up. And that happens when we slow ourselves down. Now, you know I'm going to tell you to open up the Bible because that's the best source of peace and fulfilling word on the planet. And if you're not there yet, then in any book. But you've got to go to something that's tactile, not electronic, and get dialed back in. Now, I'd love to tell you to take a whole weekend off, but we know what happens in real estate. If you think you're going to take the weekend off, you've basically just guaranteed for your phone to ring with every listing appointment you've ever been on. They're ready to sell today, and every buyer you've ever talked to is ready to write an offer today. And you find yourself saying, well, you know what? Maybe I'll go out of town another time because suddenly all these people have cropped up. And so there went your chance to rest. So I'll just be the one to tell you that that's a great thing to have on the books as a vacation, a weekend off, a week off, but you're going to have to start with an hour. Here's the craziest part. Because you do feed off your clients and you do feed off their positive reactions and you feed off being that knowledgeable, competent expert, the hour might be all you need for a reset. And then you set that down and cut your electronics back on. What you're going to find out is that you did miss a few emails and texts and phone calls. And the world didn't end. That helps our brains realize that the world doesn't immediately end just because we're unavailable. That's a narcissistic mindset that you think you're the only one who can do anything. And then once you realize that it doesn't have to be about you, it can be about your clients again. It can be about the service again. It can be about the results again. But you're not going to get there if all you do is power through. You got to stop, got to rest, and you got to reset. Now, here's the unspoken truth of all this. You'll be a better agent after you've rested. Some of y'all think that because you don't have a closing in the pipeline right now and you don't have a buyer or a seller in the pipeline right now, that the harder you push, the more likely you are to find one. Well, it's actually counterproductive because the more you push, if you're already exhausted, the less likely anybody is to use you. They're going to see you coming and say, ooh, desperation, no thank you. We want somebody else that's confident. Once you've had a chance to rest and reset, and then you go back into your prospecting, back into the phone calls, back into the relationships, the other party can tell that you're a rested person. Because rested people aren't desperate. They're not pushing somebody to make a bad decision. They are truly able to listen and serve. It's going to change everything, I promise. And just remember this. There's a huge factor in real estate. The way that you become that realtor people choose is by being likable. And you're far more likable when you're in a rested, relaxed, and filled up mode. The stressed out, burned out, exhausted part of you still might be somewhat likable to the people who already knew you, but if you take care of yourself, you'll be amazed at how you can take care of other people. So to my friend, I'm hugging you from here because I can tell that you need a hug. You probably need a pedicure, but if you will carve out 1 hour for yourself a week, 1 hour, no devices, no screens, it's going to change everything. And then this vision of you that we see on Instagram, the perky, energetic, joyful version, won't be a front. It'll be real again. And that's what we all wish for you because that's what makes you amazing.